Copy that.
How the hell are you breathing in this stuff?
I wasn't lying to you.
Hey guys, this is Gohan6425 on YouTube, the one and only. And right now, you are watching the one and only great WGS-TV.
Hello everyone, welcome to another installment of WGS-TV right here on YouTube.com/WrestleGamer and ZFX-TV. I'm the WrestleGamer, Dolphy Billy Boudreaux, and I currently curse my Skype recorder right now, but that's for another topic at another time. As I welcome you to this week's Monday Night RAW review for the week of September 2nd, 2013. Got a host of people to introduce you to first. First off, he is the host of Hardcore Wrestling Radio, which can be heard exclusively over on Spreaker.com/HWR Media and YouTube.com/HWR Show. He is the Illuminous one, the Shining Star, Rick Star. Rick, how you shining?
Well, I had my mic off. That's how. You know what, Billy? I'm a little dim tonight, but you know what? I'm hanging on by a thread. Thanks for having me, Billy.
He's our resident music mogul over on YouTube.com/Lance Moss TV. He is the incomparable Lance Moss. Lance, how you doing?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I survived the duck attack over on MechaCon a couple of weeks ago in New Orleans from this guy over at the Who Dat Temple. It's James from the Big Easy. James, how you doing? Apparently, James is so stunned he doesn't know what to say. Well, the person being held captive right now, being forced to watch nothing but Oksana in duck suits right now over on the hood on Instagram, it's the Bay Area MVP, known as Will, who fully endorses Taco Bell.
Endorse my ass. I hope the fucker burns.
Well, it's either that or you fully endorse Hulk Hogan's brand new line of Air Jordans. Well, anyway, on to Monday Night Raw again for this week. And we open up with Triple H. Yes, it is Raw.
Is it
Monday Night Raw. Yep.
Monday already? Oh, I must have woke up. Wait.
Ladies and gentlemen, James forgot to come out of his cave.
No, I was in another call. I didn't know you were doing the intro already.
Womp
Sorry.
womp.
Anyway.
Hey, what did we tell you about communing with that duck?
Hey,
anyway.
Hey, Duck. Hey, little Jimmy. Duck, how you doing?
Oh, God.
Quack, quack.
Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, oh Lord, as we look towards the opening of Monday Night Raw, which saw Triple H and Randy Orton come out to basically talk about Daniel Bryan, what they did to him on Friday Night SmackDown, and they kind of hype up the Night of Champions match, and they also had Randy Orton kind of tease the crowd, trying to get more heat on himself by kind of doing the Daniel Bryan thing, you know, asking the question, should Daniel Bryan have a match with me at Night of Champions? No. Does he have a chance in hell in beating me? No, which prompts Daniel Bryan to come out in a very good promo. Daniel Bryan's really been elevated as of late, ever since, I want to say about the middle of the summer. Daniel Bryan has really shown, you know, a vast amount of improvement. You know, the fans really have taken to him, and it showed in this promo. You know, the crowd reaction, the fan reaction that Daniel Bryan has is just absolutely amazing. So reminiscent of Stone Cold Steve Austin during the what era of Stone Cold Steve Austin's career, if you guys know what I'm talking about. But it basically, the end of the promo, Triple H books the main event to be Daniel Bryan versus the Big Show. And of course, Triple H again drawing more heat on him, kind of make fun of the fact that Big Show was showing emotion on SmackDown. And was also showing emotion throughout this whole ordeal with Randy Orton and Triple H. But I gotta say, very decent opening. You know, can't see really anything bad about it. 4 out of 5. Now we look to the opening match, which saw The Miz and Fandango. And This one has really been brooding, Rick, ever since Fandango just continually interrupted The Miz on SummerSlam. And then we saw it on last week's Monday Night Raw. Well, you guys saw it, I heard about it, and then they played the footage on tonight's Monday Night Raw of Miz coming out in Fandango's outfit and had Rosa Mendes, who's probably for her first TV time in months, ever since the whole Epico Primo tag team kind of went, and they're being reborn as Los Matadores, which for some reason, odd reason, Renee Young on Twitter decides to call them Lucha Nuggets. I have no idea why. But yeah, it's been really involving around, this whole feud between Miz and Fandango. Now, with I'm still a little bit on edge about the actual match between the finish of the match with Miz just applying what I really thought, Rick, was a very poor version of the figure four leg lock.
I'm not on edge at all. The finish sucked, pure and simple.
Well,
the
I
match.
gotta say this: at least he did it better than ODB.
That's not saying much considering ODB is a female.
And usually plastered.
Yeah, well, I'll give it to you on that one. Your thoughts on this match?
I'll give it a 2.0. Simple. Miz was, highlighting WrestleMania at one point in time against John Cena, and now he's facing, Fandango, who pretty much sucks.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. Now, of course, after this match was over, we had a re-airing for the umpteenth time the whole situation between CM Punk and Paul Heyman. Apparently, WWE really trying to hype this up for Night of Champions. And then we get Dolph Ziggler come out. He has no idea whose opponent's going to be. And then he gets ambushed by Dean Ambrose. And I'm all thinking, it's going to be Dean Ambrose. It's going to be Dolph Ziggler's opponent. Then out comes Ryback. Ryback to take on Dolph Ziggler. And, well, Dolph Ziggler really gave it his best in this match, Lance, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, but it also turned into your typical Ryback match. I mean, just beating the hell out of somebody.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it ended up being. Ryback wins the match with a shell shock on Dolph Ziggler, and that's pretty much it. Your score for that match, Lance?
Well, since it didn't say anything that impressive, I had a 2.5.
Now, we go backstage and we find out that Big Show has actually refused to take on Daniel Bryan in the main event for Monday Night Raw, which prompts Stephanie McMahon to go out to the ring and call out Big Show. And, kind of a couple of things you kind of make note of there, James, is the fact that, one, Stephanie McMahon made reference to the ironclad contract for about the first time in months, and which kind of tells us that WWE really isn't ignoring the storyline a little bit, just taking it to another interpretation of it. And two, Stephanie McMahon reveals in this storyline angle that Big Show was broke. What were your reactions in that story in that promo?
It's just really interesting, but it's it brings up how it is with Shawn Michaels JBL, that storyline some years back. So basically, this is gonna be an interesting storyline that will play out with this one. Because even though he has an ironclad contract, he's basically broke.
Your score for the promo?
Give it a 3.5 out of 5.
3MB in the form of Heath Slater and Jinder Mahal taking on the primetime players up next. Will, is there anything that we really need to say about this match other than duh?
Well, it's not really a duh moment as IWC Marks would talk about. I mean, the primetime players, they've been faced just about a month now. Ever since the Darren Young thing, but we already talked about that. But overly, I mean, they're finally getting the teensy wincy push. I'm not gonna talk about them getting a push in general. I mean, the match was a 3, which I'm gonna rank early. I don't see them going for the belts. I see they're just taking their time, one match at a time. They did great. I could probably see them going against Los Chicken El Noggetes de Pollo. Well, Tito Santana's kids. But overall, Primetime players have really got me interested back into the frame of things. They're not title worthy yet, but overall, 3. And Heath Slater, you got a dumb look on your face. I'm sorry.
Backstage, Paul Heyman is in the Brad Maddox's office to try to inquire about, the Night of Champions match with him, Curtis Axel taking on CM Punk, and if CM Punk pins Curtis Axel, he's eliminated, which then guarantees that Paul Heyman and CM Punk will face off with one another. And Paul Heyman showing that he's not really intimidated by Brad Maddox. However, he is intimidated by Triple H, and Triple H came into the angle and said, I'm the one that approved this match, and you know what, you can really surprise us, or you can get the beating that you so richly deserve by CM Punk. And I'm left wondering, after watching this little segment backstage, is Triple H supposed to be face or heel? I really don't know now, because that really confused me at this point in the show. Because technically, he's supposed to be heel, and then yet he just turned and did that with Paul Heyman. It's kind of left me scratching. What is WWE doing? And speaking of what is WWE doing, Bray Wyatt, they have a little promo, a little vignette for Bray Wyatt talking about Kane, which was just kind of, I don't know really how to interpret that, other than the fact that, yeah, we all know Kane is gone. Kane's going to be gone for quite a while. They needed a way to write him off because he was, word is that he's going to write he's going to do the next See No Evil movie. They had a person on the WGS-TV Facebook page said something about him was going to go out and promote his political views. I really don't think they would write Kane off of WWE storylines for him to go promote his political views. If it was for a movie like See No Evil 2, I would tend to lean more towards that rather than a political aspect.
Well,
Go
I
ahead.
think like there's a report that Kane is not running, so it's gonna be more. This is for movie taping and
Yeah.
not for political.
Yeah,
stuff.
because that would be all over the news if he was running for something in Tennessee. Yeah, he would. Yeah, no.
All right. Well, up next, Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes. Now, this was set up earlier in the night. Cody Rhodes said, "Stop Randy Orton and Triple H." And kind of saying, ask Randy Orton, why are you hiding from Daniel Bryan? Why are you hiding from a fight? You used to be known for your fights and being vicious and stuff like that. And then that kind of prompts Triple H for saying, you know what, if you think it's for the business, and how about tonight you take on Randy Orton? And because you didn't send us an invite to your wedding, which Cody Rhodes is getting married, and all, then if you do not, well, he didn't say this word for word, but we kind of speculated as to what was going to happen. And if you do not win, you're not going to be here around very long. I happen to know that for a fact, which kind of meant to us that Cody Rhodes was going to get fired. And now I sent this on the WGS-TV Facebook page, Rick, that this was, by far a damn good match. And if they wanted to send Cody Rhodes off on a good note, despite what the fans think about what actually happened in the storyline, that's BS as far as I'm concerned. Because he and Randy Orton had what I have to consider a 5-star match on Monday Night Raw. And this was, I had to feel, a really good way to send him off for a while.
Yeah, I do think it was a great match. And obviously they're sending him off because he's getting married. So that's, do I think he's getting fired? Obviously not. He'll be back. So it's obviously a kayfabe firing. 5-star? Yeah, I'd probably give it a 4.5, but still a great match nonetheless. Probably the best match of the night, no question.
Oh yeah, and then of course the follow-up to it, Triple H just comes out and says, with a heavy heart, I can't have losers on my roster. So, Cody Rhodes, you're fired. And of course, backstage, he's leaving, and he makes a very interesting reference that for over 20 years, the McMahons have hated the Rhodes. made mention of the fact that his dad was a champion everywhere, and then he goes into the WWF. They make him wear polka dots and dance. That his champion, his brother, was the natural, uh, was a gifted athlete, and then they made him put on makeup and a wig, and then they brought him in, and he's supposed to support his new wife. And I thought at one point Josh Matthews was obviously about to get the shit kicked out of him, but that didn't happen. Anyway, let's talk about what happened next. It was CM Punk coming out to again address the actions of Paul Heyman last week. CM Punk also had a kendo stick, otherwise known as a Singapore cane, despite what some other people will want to call it. But it has two different names. But this, CM Punk has always been known for pulling off great promos, and I gotta say this, he made a promise in this promo, Lance, that he was going to break Paul Heyman's face, and I kind of said this also on the Facebook page. I always thought Paul Heyman's face was already broken.
Yeah, I mean, he pretty much came out of the womb with his face broken or something. That's one ugly son of a bitch.
Yeah. But your thoughts on reactions to the CM Punk's promo?
Well, honestly, good promo, but little under what I expect from CM Punk. Just a little bit. But
well, let's say this: at least there were no fat guy. Yeah, at least there were no fat guys in the front row to piss off CM Punk.
Yeah.
And I'm still avidly denying the fact that fat guy in the front row was me. It was not me, guys. I'm not the one that pissed off CM Punk. You can't prove it. It was not me.
You sure?
I'm 100% sure it was not me. But one thing that I am sure of is what happened next was the triple threat match that was made on the WWE app to determine a new #1 contender for the Divas Championship, James. Naomi, Natalya, and Brie Bella. And we also
wonder why you went to me.
Well, you are the Divas expert. But
damn it, you're right.
AJ Lee did what we probably thought she was going to do, James, when you say, interrupt this match to make sure that there was no winner for no #1 contender. But we've seen this in the past so many times in wrestling that the champion thinks if they interrupt a triple threat match for a #1 contendership and there was no winner, there would be no #1 contender. But that really didn't happen, did it?
Yeah. As we obviously know, it's like basically we all knew AJ Lee when she came out. The commentary was like, well, she's gonna interfere somehow. I thought she was gonna do it right after the match, but no. But then it was decided that it was during the match. So now we have basically a fatal four-way for the Divas Championship at Night of Champions that was made on the WWE app again between Naomi, Natalya, and Brie Bella and AJ Lee. I'm gonna say this quickly. It's kind of weird why they would do a fatal four-way. I kind of understand, but it's weird to me. I'll give the match the whole stuff a 1 out of 5. It's just, I don't know, for me.
Well, up next we saw Rob Van Dam and Damien Sandow, and with Ricardo Rodriguez there, of course, being the new personal ring announcer of Rob Van Dam, or should we say Rob Van Dam? Did I do that right, Will? I guess so, because he's not answering me.
I'm just laughing here.
Okay. But anyway, we did see Alberto Del Rio make an appearance in this match to kind of, be the distraction for Rob Van Dam. But it was just basically Damien Sandow beating down Rob Van Dam on about 85% of the match. And Rob Van Dam takes advantage, hits the 5-star frog splash, and gets the win. And, Will, you gotta say this, though, WWE is trying to build something between Rob Van Dam and Alberto Del Rio. Even though we didn't see much of it tonight, we'll probably see a lot more of it on Friday Night SmackDown.
Well, see, I think the WWE puts a little bit too much emphasis on whatever they do. I mean, that's what they're well known for. I mean, we as wrestling fans been knowing about this. I mean, all of us here on the panel are not a dumb panel. But long story short, I mean, this build-up can only go two ways: up or down. There's no middle and there's no in between.
And your score for Rob Van Dam and Damien Sandow?
I'll give it its 3.
Main event on this week's Monday Night Raw was Big Show and Daniel Bryan. Now, throughout the duration of this match, Big Show was trying to get through to Daniel Bryan, saying, "You know what? I don't want to do this. I don't want to hurt you. I don't want to fight with you." And it just got to the point where Daniel Bryan basically just said he had something to prove and continually came at the Big Show. And at one point in the match, Big Show had the knockout punch ready and decides that, you know, it's not worth it. He wasn't going to do it. He was going to walk away. And out comes Triple H with the Shield. And apparently Triple H now only comes out to the King of Kings music. I'm not sure, but no, that's what I've been hearing as of late.
Yes.
But yeah, and the next, you know, the Triple H says, "You know what, you better do it." And the Shield started beating him down, and Triple H intervened to stop the Big Show from doing it. And then he just started to walk away again. And then Stephanie McMahon comes out using her feminine charm and kind of convinces the Big Show to go back into the ring, do the right thing for his family, and knock out Daniel Bryan, which is exactly what he did. And then Randy Orton comes out, and we end the show with Randy Orton standing over the prone body.
If I get a chance, I most likely will.
Okay.
And then if he forgets to mute his mic as he was talking to his family.
Yeah. As Randy Orton stands over the prone body of his number one contender at Night of Champions, and they fade to black. And that's pretty much how they ended Monday Night Raw, from what I've been told again. Daniel Bryan flat on his back with Randy Orton standing over his body.
And this is the thing. They've done this for the last 3 Raws and 1 SmackDown. It's basically like, oh, now like Daniel Bryan gets beat up by the Shield, Randy Orton, Big Show, Randy Orton, and stands over him and all this stuff. It's getting redundant now for me.
Well, there are a lot of people who would agree with you on that assessment, but you got to say, you know, for me, I thought it was a unique way. You know, I only saw the ending to last week's Monday Night Raw. I did see Friday Night SmackDown, even though I am sans a review on here on WGS-TV, and I do apologize about that. But I gotta say though, the Big Show really has come a long way in his career. You know, normally you would say, you know, when he was the Giant in WCW, maybe, you know, at that point in his career, he really couldn't have displayed the kind of emotion needed to kind of sell what he needed to sell in that match. But looking at him today, he has really come a far way, and I gotta say, very impressed with what the Big Show can do, not only in the ring, but actually, you know, displaying the right emotion he needs to sell what he needs to do, and, you know, kind of sell the fact that he doesn't want to be there. He doesn't want to hurt Daniel Bryan. He doesn't want to be the bad guy, you know, the one to inflict that punishment. He wanted to do the right thing, and he was forced to do the wrong thing and knocking out Daniel Bryan. And the way he was able to sell that, you know, with his emotions and his mannerisms, I got to say it was a top-notch job. So that's why I'm giving the main event a 4 out of 5. My overall score on Monday Night Raw this week, it's going to get, believe it or not, a 4 out of 5. And it's now time to find out everyone's picks for best and worst match or segment of Monday Night Raw. Now, for me, best match of the night definitely goes to Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes. They had a spectacular match. And for once, I am glad WWE decided to keep it one-on-one, no interference from the Shield, because I think it would have taken the piss, right, as our friend Andy would say, it would have taken the piss out of the match. And they didn't need the Shield to be involved in this match. This was a great match, one-on-one between these two. And I gotta say, they send off Cody Rhodes for his wedding to me, in a top-notch fashion by having a wonderful match with Randy Orton. Now, as far as I'm concerned, I gotta say, I'm trying to look through everything here, and I really gotta give the thumbs down or the worst match of the night. Honestly, I gotta go with the Triple Threat Divas match because of the fact that Naomi and Natalya they do have some skill. Brie Bella, the only reason she's there is because she's fucking John Cena or Daniel Bryan, either one.
Brie
And
Bella is with Daniel Bryan.
oh, then she's fucking the Beard. Yeah, that's the only reason why she's there in the WWE now is because of that. And the fact that it was just so predictable that AJ Lee was going to interfere in the match, cause a no contest, which would ultimately lead to Stephanie McMahon making the decision that the Divas title at Night of Champions would be defended in a fatal four-way. How many times have we seen, like I've said, where there's a triple threat scenario to determine a new number one contender in wrestling, and you have your champion who is a heel go out there and interfere in the match to make sure there's a no contest, to make sure there's no winner, only to have it ultimately lead to a fatal four-way where the title is on the line. It's just, I've seen it so many different times in wrestling. Like I said, when wrestling becomes predictable, it becomes boring. That's why I got to give the worst match of the night to the Triple Threat Divas match to determine a new number one contender for the Divas title. I have to give it to that. Let's go to Rick first. Rick, first, your overall score on Raw and your picks for best and worst match or segment of Monday Night Raw.
Well, I think Raw overall was nothing spectacular. I'd have to give it a 3. I wish it. I mean, it's really just getting to be like, redundant. A lot of the same shit over and over again. Best match of the night does have to go to Cody Rhodes, and so I'll give that. That match was a great match. So the worst match, despite that. The Diva match, yeah, it was a little bit predictable, but that was kind of expected. You kind of had to see that coming, especially with Night of Champions coming. I still have to say The Miz and Fandango was a lot worse because just the quality of the match sucked, the wrestling sucked, and of course, that figure 4 was just absolutely horrid. I'm sorry, but that's worse than the Divas match.
Now, Rick is also over on Facebook.com/Hardcore Wrestling Radio. Rick, what are some of the fans of your Facebook page saying about Monday Night Raw tonight?
They didn't really have a lot to say. Hold on, give me a second. I got my notes right here. As the page loads, that's Facebook being a little bit of a bitch tonight. And here we go. Anthony said, so boring. The whole Triple H thing is boring. It hasn't been exciting me since the Attitude Era. I got 6 comments now. Hold on. Wow. This has been just over the past hour. None of the titles mean anything except the WWE. Remember, you used to have a lot of the wrestlers fighting for all the IC title means nothing. I remember the big names was fighting for the belt, like you said, the tag team U.S. World Title. It's not entertaining because those reasons have no more wrestlers wrestling for the titles. Make them mean something. Big names. And Anthony agreed with it. He said exactly. Tag team division used to be strong division, but now it's weak. Revel, I don't know if I'm pronouncing this name. Revel Walker says, to tell you the truth, Raw was been trash for a long time. Matches aren't great. It always has been only one person, and the title mix is no longer a mix of superstars fighting for the WWE title at once. It's just boring. Tommy Egan said none for his favorite match. And another person said, just one big question. Why Night of Champions isn't for CM Punk fighting for the IC title belt? I don't hear everyone has ever won it. And that's the truth. If you think about it, how many times has CM Punk defeated the IC champion? 2, 3 times?
Yeah.
And again, he's saying that's because they have no competition for the best thing they did a few years ago. CM Punk, when they turned around and they messed that up with Raw with the same stuff they ever did every Monday. And this is a note to that famous little guy who's always making comments on your YouTube page. What's Mark69?
Ecstasy 69.
Oh, I call him Mark69 because he's a mark out. So, buddy, if you want to watch Raw mark out, fine. But if you don't like our opinions, well, that's just tough shit.
Well, that's the problem with it. I think everybody's entitled to it, though.
Well, everyone's entitled to have an asshole too.
On that note, I don't even know why I'm segueing into Lance with that comment, but let's go to Lance next and first find out his overall score of Monday Night Raw and find out his picks for best and worst match or segment of Monday Night Raw.
Well, overall score, I go 3. Just most of it, I just couldn't get into. But best match, Orton, Rhodes. Worst, Divas.
All right, Will, before we go to you next and get your overall score and your picks for best and worst match or segment of Monday Night Raw, I've also asked that to the people on WGS-TV's Facebook page, facebook.com/WGS-TV, and I do understand we did get a response from that.
Yes, we did, of course. And as soon as we loaded in, that's one guy that pissed off Andy. Donald Baldwin said his best match was Randy Orton versus Cody Rhodes, and which I agree. Worst match, in Mr. Baldwin's opinion, was the triple threat Divas match with Natalya, Brie Bella, and Naomi. So that's from Mr. Donald Baldwin. For me, I would say the same, but I really thought the worst match was not the triple threat Divas match. I'm gonna have to lean towards the Miz and Fandango because this back and forth merry-go-round, it's getting very there at the moment. I'm sorry, I would have seen a lot better. So, yeah, Fandango, you gotta learn the word stay healthy, because that is your problem.
Yep, and finally, ladies and gentlemen, we go to James, the Big Easy, and find out his overall score of Monday Night Raw and his picks for best and worst match or segment of Monday Night Raw.
What's that, little Jimmy Duck?
Oh, God.
And for real now, I give it. I wasn't into Raw. I'm sorry, I wasn't into Raw. Besides the Big Show, the whole entire Big Show storyline, and Randy Orton, Cody Rhodes, I had to give this a 2 out of 5. I wasn't into it. The best has to be what everybody says, the Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes match. I would have to do a tie between the two worst, which both a lot of people say is either the Divas and Fandango and the Miz. Those are my core. The Divas, I understand that they had to set up the match for Night of Champion. I thought it would be 1-on-1, but they decided, we gotta do Fatal 4-Way. Pick the 3 best of the total Divas, have them face AJ. And really, finish was predictable, as Billy said. I just didn't like how it ended up, but that's how we got it. And Fandango missed what else said. Fatal 4 sucked. I'm sorry. Learned it correctly. Thank you.
So what we want to know now from you guys out there, the viewers and subscribers, your thoughts on Monday Night Raw this week. What was your picks? What are your picks for best and worst match or segment of Monday Night Raw? We want to hear from you guys. You should put your comments in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, favorite this video. Where can fans check you out on HWR?
Of course, they can always check me out on my Facebook page. That's facebook.com/Hardcore Wrestling Radio. And don't forget to listen to our show each and every Wednesday. This Wednesday, we have from the Killer Bees, B. Brian Blair. That's this Wednesday night.
Spreaker.com. Go ahead.
That'll be on Spreaker.com/HWR Media.
All right, Lance, what can fans expect to see when they come to visit your channel over on youtube.com/LanceMossTV?
Wrestling reviews, album reviews, NASCAR reviews, and whatever pops into my head.
He's currently planning to cosplay as CM Duck at the next Comic-Con in New Orleans. James from the Big Easy, and of course his devoted follower, who's kidnapped right now and being held captive in the basement of the Houdat Temple, being forced to make Taco Bell tacos. The Bay Area MVP, known as Will. Guys, what you got coming up?
I'll see, Billy. Billy, hey, I'm gonna roll you in Oksana's class at the chair shots for the homeless school.
Oh God.
Well,
what does she know about chair shots?
Well,
what do you do?
Well, that's on James' side. My side, just one thing to say: football season.
Well, that's some MVP needs to bring up is that coming up soon. I think it's either going to be Tuesday or Wednesday. We are going to start the NFL picks. So come to me or Will. You can find us on Instagram.tv/Bay Area MVP or Instagram.tv/Fatboy504. Or we do on the Vaughn site mostly if we have to do it just talking about the NFL. Who you think's going to win the division? Who you think's going to win the games this coming up?
All right, cool. Also, fans, don't forget to like the Facebook page, which is facebook.com/WGS-TV, and don't forget to please subscribe to youtube.com/WrestleGamer and youtube.com/ZFXTV Network. So for the Illuminous one, the Shining Star, Vic Star, the incomparable Lance Moss from Lance Moss TV, James from the Big Easy, and the Bay Area MVP known as Will, I'm the WrestleGamer, Double B Bully Boudreaux, saying thank you very much for watching. Tonight's Monday Night Raw review is provided by James and the Big Easy's brand new charity, Chair Shots for the Miz.
Because it's awesome.
Yes, the chair shots are awesome.
Especially when the figure 4 is awful.
Stone Cold. Stone Cold. Spiritual speaking. Stone Cold. I'm Haley, Ring Rose. Stone Cold.
My name's Andrew Weatherall.
Spiritual speaking. Stoke Haunted.